Hello there. Welcome to your number one YouTube channel, The Critical Eye. I am your host, Odima, and of course, I'm joined by a brilliant trio of great personalities. As for the next 1 hour, I'm going to moderate that touchy conversation on the role of the youth in promoting democracy in our country shortly after this break. But in the meantime, keep subscribing to our channel and of course follow us on our Facebook and Twitter pages, all at The Critical Eye. Welcome back. So we are going to start our deliberation, and first of all, I'm just going to, allow my panelists to give at least an opening remarks in 1 or 2 minutes each. And today we have a lady in the room, so as they say, ladies first. So I'm going to start with
Okay, welcome to The Critical Eye. As you heard, ladies first, Gabrielle. I'm pleased to be here today because they say that when ladies come aboard, great things happen. Because even in your houses, you know very well that the thinking part, only ladies take the most critical part to help the man in some decisions that he cannot make. Okay, so today we are discussing about the role of us youths in promoting democracy. So today you're going to get the youth perspectives on matters to be discussed in our country today about democracy. I guess we all know what democracy is, which is the rule of the people by the people. So I believe in our country, democracy works. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was a very powerful remark there. So I'll jump over to where gentlemen are seated.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome to today's show, The Critical Eye. My name is Kapule Felix, the President, Great Lakes University of Kisumu, and I'm very much delighted to be part of this great conversation, the role of the youth in promoting democracy. Actually, we are in the 21st century, and therefore the youth have every right to participate in this country's democracy, because I believe that the youth are very much dependent in this country, because every opinion they have must be constituted in the development of this country. Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kapule. And finally, to the gentleman on the far end.
Thank you very much, Odima, for having invited me on this special occasion to discuss specifically matters affecting our nation and democracy in particular. I know we are going to have vast discussion, and finally youths will know their roles and the power they have that can bring a lot of change within our nation.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for that brief introduction and of course very powerful remarks. So we are going to start our deliberation, and perhaps I'll just ask Brother Vincent, we cannot talk about democracy by first of all not understanding what democracy in itself is. So perhaps you can give us, Gabriella mentioned it over here, but then you can give us an elaborate definition of what, in your perspective, democracy is, so that anyone watching, perhaps in the village somewhere who doesn't understand, can understand what you're talking about today.
Thank you very much, Cliff. The first definition of the democracy is the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. That means the people are the final decision makers of all the political process that are taking place within our nation. Their voice are accumulated and they fully practice it through the vote to entrust people with some key responsibilities to bring change within our nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Gabrielle, do you agree with what he has to say, or you have some few things to add?
Oh yes, I do, but of course I have something to add, because we say that it's a rule for the people, by the people, but it can either be directly or by elected representatives. We quite know very well that in our country we have people representing us in the parliament, in various sectors like the MCA. So even if we make a decision, it's the elected people who will represent us. And sometimes it's directly, and sometimes we have to deal with the representatives.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough. Kapule,
Yes.
do you have anything to say, or we can move on?
Yeah, I will also add something.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, apart from the standard definition of democracy, which is the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people, I can add something. Actually, in very simple words, in a layman's language, we can say democracy is where an individual opinion or interests are being included, or rather considered in terms of decision making and the development plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. It was a very powerful presentation on that. So I'm going to jump over to Vincent for another time. Why do you think it's important that we discuss this topic, the role of the youth in promoting democracy in our country?
Thank you very much, Cliff. In several discussions that we've been having, and this is something that I will say repeatedly, that youths plays a great role in a democratic process in our nation. In fact, I do say that the youth's force, I compare it to a second force after God's force.
Okay.
Youths have a lot of energy, youths have a lot of power, they are highly enlightened. And in fact, if you look at most of the regimes since we got independence, they had been used as objects, as subjects of political campaigns.
Okay.
And in this regard, we expect that this time round, especially being that we're approaching the next election, time has come that youths will have to refuse to be used to achieving individual goals.
Okay.
They have to sit down as individual and trust one of them to go and take a political seat, so that when he goes to be it the parliament, the national parliament or the senate, he can easily table our issues, and we will be fully at the national government.
Okay, so what you're saying, its importance is that it's important for us to discuss this topic, so that we can, advocate for inclusion.
Actually, youths cannot be ignored.
Okay.
It's too dangerous to ignore a youth in any political process.
Okay.
Remember, in our country, we are the highest percentage of voters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Kapule, as an independent thinker,
Yes.
do you have different ways from what, different reasons, from what Vincent had said?
Not that different, but I think I can also add something on what Vincent has just said.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the youth should be included in terms of decision making and democracy of this country. The reason being is that the youth are the ones holding the future of this country. And with all factors kept constant, the youth are the group of people who have the higher life expectancy than any other person. And apart from that, the youth in our Kenya's population, the youth form the majority of Kenya's population. And that is why you can see, as we are approaching the electioneering period, every politician, every leader would want to meet the youth and have their opinions and interests included in part of their political agenda. So the youth should never be omitted, should never be ignored in terms of democracy, when talking of democracy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps I have to hear what Gabrielle has to add to what you two gentlemen had to say. Like you said, that ladies must speak for any debate to be, material.
Of course, I support my men because they've elaborated everything that I was supposed to say.
Okay.
But the thing is, we all know that today's leaders or today's young citizens are the people who become leaders in the future, yeah? Because they'll also help in making decisions. And as he's saying that the political leaders, they use, sorry to use that, but that's true, right? Because they try to manipulate youth to help them win the electoral seats that they are going for. Then after that, things just crash. It's like they were never there, or they never promised anything. People are going to die for no reason. So that's why I think we're supposed to talk about this, because elections are just, we started registering our votes from today, the 4th of October, which is quite well, we are citizens. But the problem is, those people will come, they'll say whatever they have to say, come electioneering period, you will see things that you didn't quite expect. People die, people fight over people that do not know you, do not know where you come from, your homes, or maybe they know, but then after they are there, after they get there, then things just change.
Okay.
I think, youths, please, let's just not.
It's a good thing that you mentioned something to do with future leadership. Now I'm going to ask you this personal capacity. are you in person as Gabrielle interested in being a future leader in our country?
Thank you. Actually, let me start from scratch. Yeah?
No, just in a nutshell, just for 2 seconds.
Okay, I'm not going to say much.
Okay.
You've asked if I'm planning to become a leader, so of course a politician has something to say. Okay, I'm not a politician, but I'm a leader. I've been a leader in KCA University, Kisumu campus, or Western campus. I've been the vice-chairperson for 2 years. So there are quite some stuff that I've learned which are trying to change my perspective of what politics is. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm going to be one of them, but maybe someday. How do you see me as a woman rep? Kisumu County or CI, let's say that.
Okay, we definitely wish you all the best and give you the necessary support. But then perhaps we'll talk about that later on.
let me add something.
Okay.
What is making youths in our nation to fear to join politics? They say it's absence of money.
Okay.
But I rarely see money as one of the important political tools.
Why is that so?
Trust yourself. Trust yourself. What do you have for the people? Present yourself before the people. They will either choose you or reject you.
But you know, it's money that will fund your movements and every other thing, communication and coordinating your team.
When you come to the scripture, there was a time that Moses was headed to Canaan with the Israelites, and there was a lot of tension and push and pull, to an extent that some of them were almost giving up on the way. But there's a time that they were too thirsty, and they were along the desert. There wasn't no way they could get water. They started pressurizing Moses. So Moses took time and talked to God. That these people are blaming him. They even wished to go back to Egypt where they were being oppressed. God asked had Moses, and they asked Moses, "What do you have?" Moses said, I have a rod. And God gave Moses that instruction to use that rod to hit the stone, and the water came out. So it's not a matter of the finances. What do you have as an individual? Trust yourself. Pray, and God will give you wisdom on how to talk to the people, and they will finally trust you with the leadership and trust you with their future. It's not a matter of money. It's your individual stand. Because money, if you look at what is selling us or destroying our political system, is money. Politicians come, they buy our votes, they buy our voices. For the rest of 5 years, you cannot complain because one, he took loan, he bought you, he did not convince you, you voted for him because you exchanged hands.
Okay, thank you very much. Kapule, it's good now that Gabrielle and Vincent have mentioned something to do with, vying, taking up the mantle and going for the seats as a way that the youth can promote democracy. Now, do you think there are any other ways apart from that?
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, because especially now that there are some of us who are not interested in taking up those seats, and of course some of them who fear the fear of not having money.
Okay, thank you very much. As I mentioned earlier on, is that the youth have play a very critical role in terms of development of this country. So what I can say is that the youth are people as a group. This is a group of people who are very much strong. They have ideas, but it is very unfortunate that most of them don't have money. And with the kind of mentality that we have in these countries, that if you don't have money, you cannot vie for any political position. So that is what is really affecting us. But what I'd just like to encourage my colleague, or rather my colleagues, is that just from wherever you are, just be bold enough, stand, speak up your mind. If you're in a capacity to serve, kindly stand up, vie for any position, talk to your fellow youth, and for just an advice to my fellow youth, that let's not get deceived with the money.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like we are selling our future. Because you are given 500 shillings, you are accept to sell your future for the next 5 years. Then we end up crying. The economy is poor. But all that one, we played a role. We played a role in whatever problems that are coming along. We played at least a role.
Okay.
So let us not get deceived with money, but let us vote for the right leaders.
Okay.
We have our colleague leaders who can deliver.
Okay.
In fact, let me add something.
Okay.
Our unity as youths is going to bring an end to politics of conmanship and trickery. This is already politicians have already started campaigning. There are some people that we never knew them before. They never paid visit in the village, but today they are coming, giving our people some tokens in front of a camera. Then they post the political social media pages, cheating the people that they have been helping.
Okay. Perhaps why is that so? Why do politicians in our country feel so comfortable in giving people handouts? Is it a question of our democracy not being mature enough that the common man is easily bought so that they can sell away the democratic right?
Mr. Clean, poverty is a very dangerous disease. Poverty can make an individual do what is not expected of him to do. Poverty can make somebody lose his or her senses and decide to walk along the street naked because he's going to be given cash. This is what is interfering or destroying our democratic space. People are hungry. A politician will come, gives him 200 shillings. When you sit down, you think that, oh, yesterday I went without food, I went without water, and somebody here is coming giving me 200 shillings. Let me sell my vote.
But according to you, our democracy is mature enough. The only problem with it is poverty.
Our democracy is very mature. In fact, we keep growing.
Okay.
Yeah, we keep growing. In fact, you cannot compare Kenya with other countries within Africa. In fact, I do say that if the political science students within other countries in Africa need a good place to doing an attachment, the best place to come is Kenya.
Okay. Kapule,
yes.
Perhaps you can also say something. I'm seeing you agree
with
Vincent.
I must add something.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the current situation of our country, whereby a politician comes with money, gives it to the youth, and the youth accept to vote for him. Actually, this is a two-way thing. The first thing to start with the youth is that we have a weakness. We have a weakness for money. That is why if any leader approaches you and bribes you with 500 shillings, you accept to do whatever he has requested you to do. So that is the thing. Then again, for the politician side, they are taking advantage of our economic status. Yeah, so people, they know very well that the youth don't have money. If you give them money, they'll definitely accept to do what you requested them to do. So they are taking advantage of our status.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Gabrielle, maybe you can add on to what the two gentlemen had to say, or maybe disagree, or if you can.
It's not all about disagree. It has made me think. There's something that Kapule has said about politicians taking advantage. And it makes me wonder, is that the reason why our economy does not improve from time to time? Because it's like they're doing this thing so that next time the economy will be the same way, or maybe it will be so poor that Kapule said about politicians taking advantage. It has made me think, is it the reason why our economy does not improve from time to time? Because it's been 10 years, yeah? It's been 10 years, and personally, from where the economy was from that time up until now, I wouldn't say I've seen quite some changes that I'd say the economy has improved. So it makes me wonder, is it the reason why when, let's say, if someone is vying to go for the president's seat, then gets there and does nothing, waits for another 5 years for nothing to happen, then when the 5 years elapse, he'll want to vie again, get there, the economy will just, so they'll just try to take advantage of, because they know the economy is poor, yeah, right? So they just do the same thing over and over, over and over. Why is it that when they're in that seat, why can't they just improve this thing once and for all, so that the issue about bribery or whatever the thing is, whatever it's called, to just come to an end, because we are being used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that powerful presentation, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe I can say.
Before.
If you can just allow me to interrupt you and
Just
just
in
say
one
something.
second.
Okay, thank you. In just 1 second. Yeah, there is this classical example which I can give in our societies. You realize that maybe as we are approaching the electioneering period, maybe the politician knows very well that you have a problem when it comes to water, access to clean water. You have a problem when it comes to roads. You have poor roads. So when you vote in that leader, you'll just initiate that project. Within 5 years, when he is in office, the project will be around halfway. So by the end of his term, he'll again come back to you and tell you, I've done what you wanted, so give me some more time so that I just complete my project. If again you elect him in, he'll not complete, just do quarter of it. Then the process just continues.
So in short, what they want is that you suffer so that when they come.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the thing.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for those powerful enlightenment. For now, we are going to take our break, but then when we come back, we'll be discussing the practical approach towards solving this problem by the youth. So stay tuned, keep subscribing, and keep engaging us, and keep. Welcome back for another time. So, Kapule.
Yes.
Do you feel like democratic processes in Kenya are satisfactory? As a youth, speak as a youth.
Okay, when we're talking about the democratic status of Kenya as a country, we need to trace our way back. When Kenya's democratic transition began, that was in 1991, when there was a referendum of section 2 of the constitution that required formation of more political parties to challenge the ruling party. But then it was canned. So it was 19. So that, from there, I think we made at least a step ahead. That was the beginning of democracy in Kenya. That is for now, as much as we are not that better as a country, but I can say that we are better off in East African countries. Kenya, we are some of it.
Okay. Vincent, you categorically mentioned that our democracy is mature. Do you believe that the processes are also satisfactory? Because I see every electioneering period we go into a post-election violence, which is not a very good sign for a country's democracy.
Until Kenyans will be satisfied, fully satisfied with every election result, specifically presidential election, that's when we will get the dictionary meaning of democracy. Because we will feel that our voices are fully respected.
But you know, this is a political scene. And in a political scene, there is no yes or no in black and white. It's just they stole from us, and every.
Cliff, let me speak as a Kenyan. I feel that the presidential election and presidential results is not decided. The voters, the people's vote does not count.
And does that represent your view as a youth? Perhaps as you go on with elaborating on that.
I'm speaking as a Kenyan.
Okay. But you'll give us a youthful perspective later on, I hope.
Youthful Kenyan. I've said that the voters' votes rarely count, specifically in presidential election. But it's a few individuals who sit around the table and decide on who will be the president. So, through rain, through sunshine, whether Kenyans like or not, the person that they have decided to be the president must be the president. And that instruction is given to somebody to announce it publicly.
And who are these people?
Yeah, our electoral body.
Okay. Thank you very much. Gabrielle, what's your view, or you agree with youthful Kenyan perspective? The youthful Kenyan theory now.
He's a Kenyan. He's not talking as a youth. He's talking as a Kenyan. Kenyan means you're an adult, so he's just okay. But I'd say I'm satisfied a little bit, with the democratic process in Kenya because it promotes active citizenship. Because at times they get to hear us, at times they don't. So I don't have much to say about it.
So for you, you are standing on the fence. It's either between
50-50.
Okay, I don't encourage that, but it's okay. We are just going to see some of the ways. Perhaps, Kapule, you can start this for us. What are some of these ways that a youth in the grassroots can, promote democracy? In as much as we are advocating for youth to rise up and take up positions, not every youth has that capacity to lead. Because in the end of the day, democracy, it also requires someone with the capacity to lead. But then, even though I'm not a leader, there are those small ways that I can, things I can do to promote democracy in the grassroots. What can you, tell us about what you
Okay,
do?
thank you very much, Cliff. Yeah, talking about the role of the youth in terms of democracy, participating in Kenya's democracy, we can start by the youth participating during mass registration. Right now, as we are approaching the electionary period, the youth have every right. Their opinions will be heard, will only be heard if they participate fully in electing the leaders they want. Yeah, so the youth should not just sit there, but they should stand up, go and register as voters, so that they choose whoever they want, whoever represents their interests. That's the only way we can talk of democracy in Kenya. Though we also have challenges as a country in matters of democracy, especially during our election period, because there are discussions out there that some people, especially with the presidency's election, some people are meeting those ones who are voting, there are those ones who are meeting, who are walking around to meet those ones who are counting the votes. So there are those two types of people. So, but we should not get caught with such kind of notion, but we should just vote for the right leaders, the ones we know. Yeah, but such kind of beliefs about whether you vote for me or not, the system will decide. So we should do away with such kind of notion as it is.
Okay. Perhaps let's say you can tell us what, for example, can you tell a youth somewhere in the city and saying that now that Kenyans vote, like the youthful Kenyan theory, Kenyans votes are not counted by, are not decided upon by voters, but by some few people who, according to the deputy president, refers to them as, the deep state, who counts and decides. What can you tell someone who has decided that now that my vote doesn't count, I cannot go register as a voter, for example, and this person decides also?
Now I want to talk as a youth.
Okay.
Bad leaders are chosen by good youths who refuse to participate in election.
Okay.
And you can only participate in election when you have a political tool, which is called a voter's card. This is where you can air your views. This is where you can make a very critical decision on where your future will be in the next 5 years. So avoiding participating in election is too dangerous for us as youths. You cannot demand votes, you cannot demand good hospitals, you cannot demand quality education and infrastructure. You cannot demand for food security if you never participated in electioneering. If you never participated in election, that means this is not your leader and this is not your country.
Okay.
So if you are patriotic, you have to participate in election. So I want to encourage youths, irrespective of the challenges that we are facing, let's go and register as voters. This is the only opportunity that we have to air our views. Two, let us not fear going for this political position. You know, sometimes you go in the village to sell your agendas. The people start asking you that, hey, what have you been doing to the people? What have you done? Instead of asking you what you are going to do for them. You know, you are not the custodian, but then you are not the custodian of the public resources. So such questions are so intimidating. So it's the time that you go and tell the people what you intend to do. In fact, you should just use a convincing language, and later on, when they entrust you with leadership, you sit down and you discuss on the development that they want you to prioritize. Yeah.
Okay. Gabrielle, perhaps you can wrap this up for us.
On promoting democracy, as I know, I think that we're supposed to empower ourselves and other young people. I think that we have our own lives, but we can also impact. We have an impact in promoting our own lives and what we're supposed to do, because we guide ourselves on what we're supposed to do. So on democracy issues, when we are empowered, we have the skills, the critical awareness. So yeah, I think that we play a critical role in promoting, because the truth is, without the youths, then probably a good election.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to add on something, Mr. Cliff, that the fact that youths play an important role in election, time has come that we need to really be very careful, because there is a political strategy that the politicians have come with, which is too dangerous for the development of be it counties, your ward, or the constituency. They convince you, they pay you, they carry you in their vehicle, they take you to the region or in a place that you want to vibe, to go and change your work there. But you see, that's not your primary home. Make sure that as a youth, where you stay, be it in the village or in town, where you spend most of your time, make sure that that's the place that you vote. Don't change your vote to satisfy the political interest of a politician. It's wrong.
Okay, thank you. So, anyone with anything to add on that question? Nothing. So, at this point, I'm going to give you at least 2 minutes to give your closing remarks. I will start with ladies first, of course. Ladies first.
You know, it started when you started the meeting.
And you can start again. Or you want to close?
Yeah, I want to close. Let's take
just you've been chosen, you're the chosen one.
To our youths, I'd just like to tell us that since we are here for the month of registering our votes, I'd urge us to not be swayed or persuaded on where we're supposed to take our votes. Let's subscribe to the Critical Eye, let's promote it, and we'll hear more about the Critical Eye sometime.
Okay, thank you for that parting shot. Kapule.
Okay. First of all, to our viewers, thank you very much for watching. And I'd just like to urge you that you subscribe to this channel, The Critical Eye. And also to our youth, I'd just like to urge us that during the voting process, as we are electing our leaders, let us be very sober. Let us not get deceived with money. Let us not get deceived with switch words, switch talks. At the end of the day, we end up voting the wrong leaders. So we live to regret our choices. So let's be very sober during our election period.
Thank you very much. And finally, the youth Kenyan theorist.
I want to urge the young citizens, specifically youths, to avoid the Tungocrats. Let us not allow them to manipulate our minds. Let us not allow them to use us for the personal political gain. Let us make sure that we as youths, we support our own irrespective of economic status. Let us not look that if Vincent comes, does he have a V8? Does he have a Mercedes? Has he invested how many people are saying he supported. This is somebody that has started to build his future. And this is one of the way that he wants not to build his future together with you. Support a youth. Support a youth. Support a youth.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Keep watching The Critical Eye, because this is the only place, the only forum that youths air their voice.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your very constructive contributions. We've come to an end to our session today, and of course to our viewers. That was Vincent Opiyo, Felix Kapule, and of course Gabrielle, very vibrant youthful leaders. And they were airing their very, very strong opinions on how you can promote democracy at your grassroots level society. And one message, one outstanding message that passing out there is that you keep your heads high, keep watch, and be keen when participating in the democratic processes. Careful not to be bought, because you're selling your 5 years to a fraud. Thank you very much for always tuning into The Critical Eye. Keep subscribing, keep following us, because this is your critical eye.